All right, let's do this. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the BearThoughts podcast. We do this every Wednesday at 5 o'clock Central PC time. If you want to check us out live, be sure to come to the channel, come to the chat, and you can always, talk to us and give us our thoughts and opinions on a certain subject matters that you may be interested in. Today we have a kind of a bit of a special, I guess you might say, podcast where we're going to be a little bit more specific on our conversational piece, and this one was brought up by a viewer of last week. An interesting topic point. We're going to be talking about our top. Okay, would you call it mechs or vehicle? Like,
I would say our top anime vehicles that encompasses both mechs and modes of transportation.
Okay, so the kind of the rules are pretty simple. It has to be from an anime, cannot be from a video game, so anime specifically, and it cannot be a Americanized TV show that was eventually transformed or just eventually brought into the anime spectrum. It has to be primarily anime.
And it cannot be CGI based. It has to be anime.
Yes, and you have to be able to pilot it. So no like outer body, no, you have to be inside of it while going. Now we have a pretty much a category here. Let me bring this up so I can, check myself here. We have cars, bikes, then we have battle mechs, ships, and racing. Now, racing is pretty much like if it was in a tournament, a Grand Prix, a league, or anything like that, it is considered as a racing mode of transportation.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go on here, and I got images. So for anybody listening in and you don't know what we're talking about, you might want to watch and look at the screen. I have examples here so you can see where we're going at here. Corvo already picked out his top. Now, Corvo, are we going to be like going off of just purely just aesthetics, or do you have reasons why you choose these in your top mechs?
I have reasons for my picks.
Okay.
I have reasons.
They're just like, hey, this looks cool. It's like, it's cool, but it also does like said things.
Yes. I do have reasons, even down to the card that I'm sure you're wondering what the fuck, because it doesn't look special, but there are reasons.
Yeah. Now, there's only one vehicle. Now, I had Corvo share his with me, but I don't know to name all of them. I know of all but two of them. But one of them, we both chose the same one because it's just such an iconic thing. Like, you cannot think of this in any other category. Now, there's a lot of other good ones out there. I can name like 5 of them truly off my head of this one category. But one of them is like, you cannot... You think this, and if you're an anime or person that even watched things back in the 90s or today, you cannot think of it otherwise. But I think you know what I'm talking about. But we're gonna jump into the, I would say, the probably not the most debatable, but probably one of the largest for sure. Largest for sure, and not a largest just in the idea of how many there are out there, but also like how big they are.
Yes.
We're jumping straight into battle mechs.
Okay.
Now, this one goes from anywhere from Gundam to you name it. There's so many mechas out there that there's
a ton of mech suits.
Yeah, and you don't even need to be like, hey, it has to be Gundam. Like, no, there's some like romance.
No,
there's some romance one out there. There's some comedy ones out there. There's some slice of life mechs. For some reason, trust me, I've seen it.
There's other battle mechs besides Gundam, guys, and as you'll see when you see my pick,
there's even one like where they like there's mechs in the olden days of knights, and they were cool looking, but like. Okay, so we're going to jump right into yours. Now, Corvo, I do not know the name of this mech. Now, full transparency.
This is Aquarion.
I have never seen this mech before.
Aquarion.
Now, describe this guy to us.
Genesis of Aquarion. What makes this mech special is it is comprised of multiple small mechs.
Okay, so it's like a Zoid.
Kind of, in a way. So, the way this works is there are different combinations that you can make. There's like, I'm trying to remember if there was 3 or 4 different mechanized units that could be used to make multiple different combinations of this fighting mech.
So like a Power Ranger, then, right?
I would not downgrade it that far. Sorry. I love Power Rangers, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
I forget the one with all the tigers in it. What's the name of that one?
That was Voltron.
Voltron. It kind of also reminds a little bit of Voltron in some way.
The way Aquarion worked was, you had each one of them had a specialty.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put them together in the right order, you got the image that you just seen, which is full on Aquarion. It was basically the life bringer, the ultimate. If you challenge anything in life, I will destroy you.
Was he the villain?
No,
he was a good guy.
He was the good guy.
Okay, so he had the ultimate I cannot be defeated plot twist, kind of like every time something comes to happen about.
And he was special, especially when he obtained this final form, which is in the image that you see here, because those, I guess for lack of a better term, wings that you see behind him,
kind of might be like blades,
had a very special property. They could turn solar rays into a way to either rejuvenate or destroy.
Okay, so how old is this anime?
Oh shit, I don't remember how old it is. Hang on, let me check.
Because like I've seen a large or something, but I have never seen this before. And the golden, I can't help but feel like they went, you know what, Super Saiyan. Like just like something about like the ultimate form is always this golden like overlay of color and just straight up yellow golden, and he's in the ultimate form. And it just makes me think he powered up.
So, Genesis of Aquarion came out in 2005.
2005? That's actually not that... Well, it doesn't feel that old, okay? I know it's old, but it doesn't feel that old.
I enjoyed the hell out of the anime. And here's the trick. This mech is not piloted by one person. And I was wrong. It's not 2 pieces. It's 3 pieces to make the mech.
And there's 3 pilots?
It's 3 pilots.
Uh-huh.
And Grumpy, you have to watch it because you will love the integration scenes.
Oh, okay. So they have a very...
You'll love the integration scenes.
They're very crowd-pleasing, you might say.
Audibly, especially.
Okay.
But it is by far, in my opinion, with the ability to have its multiple different configurations and multiple different abilities outside of just what Aquarion himself was, made it my pick.
Okay.
I mean, there were different forms, like there was Aquarion Moon, I believe, and Aquarion this and Aquarion that. The one you see is actually the Genesis form, which is his ultimate form. But throughout the anime, you get to see these different forms.
Yeah.
And you get to see the different abilities that come with each form. And I don't know I can't think of a single mech that would go toe to toe with it and be like, oh, he was a pushover. No. Even if you win, you're walking out with battle scars.
Yeah. So it is not very old anime. How many seasons do you know? Was it a 1 season kind of thing? Was it a one pop and go?
I'm thinking that it was 2 seasons.
Okay, so a relatively good lifespan for an anime.
There's 2 seasons. There's season 1 and season 2.
Okay. And did it finish? Like, for sure, it had a definitive end. Like, no.
At the end of season 2, there was an end. Yes.
Okay. Because some animes nowadays,
it was definitive. And the thing is with Aquarion, you couldn't be just anybody to pilot it. Like, you had to have a specific tie, I would say. That's the easiest way for me to explain it. To be able to pilot Aquarion or any of the sub pieces of Aquarion.
Okay. All right. So my choice, I'm going to be sharing it here with you now. My choice for a Gundam,
I know that was going to happen.
Gundam Wing from a very G Gundam, not very popular, but I chose a bad guy. I chose a bad guy. Now, you might be wondering which one is this mecha right here. This is the OZ 13M Gundam Epion, or also known as Master Gundam. This is the Gundam from which the main character, the pilots, learned his talents and the Shining Finger from. G Gundam from the, I want to say, 1990 to maybe early 2000 Gundams, is a tournament-based Gundam. And this was the previous year or previous tournament's champion, and becomes one of the main bad guys. Now, I like this guy because not only was the mech one of the most powerful mechs in the whole series, goes so far to become the main bad guy, but also, spoiler warnings for anybody wondering out there, also, the fighter was such a good fighter. He could beat a Gundam's ass by his own hands. He didn't need no Gundams. He could whip people's ass and their Gundams by his own hands. And that was, to me, like, if you take somebody that's already in a godlike perspective of talent and badassery, they can whip your ass inside of a mech chute, and he's on his feet, bare feet, whip your ass. Imagine him inside of a Gundam and what he could do if it would actually portray his own movements.
I knew you were going Gundam. I knew it. I knew you wouldn't be able to. You could not do it.
Gundam to me, and especially G Gundam, like not many people like G Gundam because, well, it's not in the normal arc of things, and the whole premise of this is, well, everybody in their own nations, and there's also the outer space nations as well, will all join in a tournament with their best pilots, best fighters, and best mechanical mech or Gundam, and they would all fight out to see who would be the ruler of the world for the next 10 or so many years. So if your team would win, it not only bring honor into prestige to you and your name and your family, but also to your nation, and when you would be the quintessential ruler of the world. Instead of doing a war all the time, it's like, hey, just everybody just get your best person one-on-one, see who wins. That's your nation right there saying they won victory. So it was a bit of a more peaceful way of doing things. And they have a lot of very theme-esque like characters, and of course Japan
It was a break from the norm. It was a break from the normal Gundam.
Yeah, and again, the pilots, the mech suit is very stylized. He had a sword, he had a whip, which was kind of like his scarf that he used to fight people. He had unique wings, red color. I mean, this thing oozed like just what's the word for it? Just badassery, but at the same time, it's a bit of I'm skipping on the word here, where it's something
DPS.
Yeah, but
DPS.
It had everything. And so, my one Grumpy's favorite Gundam, but I like the main character. Yeah, Shining Fingers was my next pick. Really, my Shining Fingers was my next pick. I would love to have that one on there too. But just like the master, he's the master. So I guess I love the design of that character, and of course both of them are great. And he also, like, his ship could turn into a flying craft. He also had like a horse for a mech. I mean, this thing had everything. So
and that goes kind of back to one of the reasons why I picked Aquarion, because when shit got thick and being large was a bad thing, you broke into 3 multiple pieces, and now you're crowd control from hell.
Yeah.
Okay,
so the next one, I want to get this one kind of again, because this is the one I think me and you are, and there's many of them out there. There's some pretty good ones out there, but this is the quintessential one. Now, I do have I would say a runner-up, but I have an honorable mention of my choice. But I don't know if you consider it as an anime. That's my problem. I don't really consider it maybe as an anime, even though there's anime adaptations.
I have an honorable mention too, but it would have been from a CGI-ish anime, so I wouldn't call it anime, but I would definitely mention it because it is very much, had it been anime, it would have been my choice.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to jump right into bikes. And I think there's no doubt in anybody's mind what it was.
No.
We both chose Akira, the bike from Akira. Now, this bike is iconic. Like, there's nothing that really could, you say anime, dude, don't think of this.
Dude, there is people that went and bought Kawasaki's to mod them to look like this bike, just to drive them.
And there's more information on this bike and what it has inside of it than most animes out there have in its whole lifespan.
Yes.
And this is one movie.
You think bike, you think anime, you think, ooh, red bike, fast, nice, want.
Yeah, and it's so stylized. It's stylized. It's kind of off of a airplane or jet. Sorry, a jet, and it has all the things and all the goodies that you could probably ask for. It only doesn't have it's a bunch of guns all over it, but it's sleek, it's fast, and it has such a overwhelmed theme and play in the movie that not many other shows actually really play off. Like, some of it has the bike in it, right? But not the entire thing is almost primarily done on the bike.
Yeah, I mean he's hauling ass from point A to point B every time you see him, and that bike is getting him there. You know.
And of course, it matches with his suits. It has such a huge fandom in the whole thing. And if you like the old school run-of-the-mill action-packed movies, and you ever try to kill that, I don't know what's wrong with you. Really, seriously.
And it was probably the first bike or vehicle in anime that I ever seen that they were willing to be like, are we gonna slap a bunch of stickers on the side of this shit and look like it's common?
Yeah.
It ain't common. I mean, come on, man.
And it had its own problems, but it was the moment you saw it in the anime, it was such a impact that most people didn't even bother even to see the other bikes. Like, the other bikes were there, but it was so in your face, and so like, hey, this is the main point. This is the character, not
it's
just
also
a backdrop.
It's also, I have to say, for me, it was the first time I seen a vehicle in an anime, and I instantly read in my mind how fast this thing was without being told, you looked at it and you knew that damn thing hauled ass.
Yeah, it definitely did a good job of showing off speed.
There was no doubt that when you were full tilt on it, you were getting to where you were going in a hurry. And that, for me, that was like, oh shit, I want one of those. And
it wasn't a speedster either. It wasn't like one of those people, like, crotch rocking people leaning over in it. It was actually kind of like, you could lean a little bit, but like it was kind of like a lean back a little bit, and in some seating position. But it has a good flair of a normal. I would say bike, but I'm trying to think of the name of the normal bikes. I wouldn't
motorcycle,
like a normal motorcycle, but with a mix of crotch rocket to it, and it's a main character of the whole movie. There is no doubt in my mind that this will probably stand the test of time, and
I agree.
It has all the flair that you would ever need, but my honorable mention though, for a bike, and I wish it was anime, but it's not. But if I had between Akira's bike or the bike from Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, the bike from Final Fantasy Advent Children would be my next bike. But the problem
that was my honorable mention as well.
Yeah.
If it had not been CGI, it would have been the one.
This baby right here. I mean.
That thing is badass. Not only does it have firepower and it'll haul ass, but it also has a nifty compartment for all your weapons of choice.
It is. It's such a nice little bike, and I had to say not a connoisseur, but if that was anime, I would have get down. If you had to give me like, hey, the Akira bike or that one, oh, that would be a hard choice. But I'd
be like, hang on, I'm getting a loan. I want them both.
But that is our choice for bikes. Yep. I think there's no doubt in my mind that there's a lot of other good ones out there. If you have a choice of what your favorite bike is, you don't agree with this, there's some really good ones out there. There's just one mecha that I saw a long time ago where there's girls like on top of a bike, but it had like arms, and it was like it's kind of like a mixture between a motorcycle and a mech bot. It was pretty cool. There were some other ones like with wheels that are free floating, and it's all that nice stuff. But I'm going off more of what is a possibility, like what is you could actually ride.
Right. And that's what I was aiming for too.
And of course, at the same time, what's more realistic?
Yeah, I mean, we all like the fantasy stuff, but when you look at something and you're like, well, that could be real and it's badass, it tends to make a different
impact on you. Like I can see myself writing that. Not going, I wish that there was a thing, but it ain't. So
yeah. Right.
And okay, next one. Now this is cars. I have no idea. I have I might have an idea. Is this by chance from Ghost in the Shell?
No, it is not.
Okay, can it look like Ghost in the Shell for a second there?
It is not.
Explain this one to me. There's two pictures here for this for you. You have the manga example, and then you have, I guess, what is this image that you sent me?
All right, that image is the image from it traveling down the highway in the actual anime.
Okay, so I guess they went CGI in the scenes of cars? Like, did they have a little bit of a lower budget?
Somebody went over the image and glossened it up and everything.
Okay.
But it looked anime in the anime. They just made it look more like if this was real, this is what it would look like in the image.
Okay, so what is this from?
This car is from Appleseed.
Appleseed. Never heard of that either. Goodness gracious, you're naming some
fantastic anime series. Dude, if you like mech / integrated people, you like anything like that, like
is it primarily mecha?
If you like cybernetic type animes like Ghost in the Shell, you will love Appleseed. I cannot believe you have not seen any Appleseed.
I am not gonna lie.
You need to write that shit down. You need to watch it. We need to have a conversation about this shit.
Okay,
but anyway, Appleseed. The thing that I loved about this car, if you look at the concept drawing, the black and white, that's where they were going in the manga with it.
Okay, so this one was a little bit more land version. The other one looks like a little bit more hover.
That's what they were thinking, and then when they went to the anime and they actually started filling out the anime, they realized, well, we have an opportunity to show off like a hover style vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when they changed it. I love hover vehicles.
Yeah, the idea of it sounds awesome.
All things hover. Like I told you, if we had been doing a live action, my car pick would have been the one from Total Recall, the most recent one.
Yeah,
because that bitch could mag lift off the ground or upside down. It could travel under the road or over the road. But that's my thing. That's what I loved about the car. They made it sleek. They made it look simple. But obviously, because it's mag lift, it has some increased technology in it. Also, the nice thing about this car was a lot like Total Recall. To swap drivers, I didn't have to change seats. I just passed you the steering wheel.
That's interesting. Just grab the wheel, go, your turn.
No, it's on a slider in front of you, and you just slide it to the other person.
Oh, okay. I thought you just like, boop, boop, have at it.
No, you just slide it to the other person. And there are multiple points in, I guess, what I would call the original Appleseed, because there's multiple animes of this, where when they're in the city, traveling from point A to point B, and shit is getting real.
Yeah.
that without this little hover car, their ass would have been toasted. Not because it had great, armor or great weapons. It was the fact that it was maglift, because not all vehicles in the anime were maglift.
Okay,
Only certain ones, and you had to have either money or a position inside of like a department of defense or something like that to be able to have this type of a car with this type of technology. And there's multiple times where ground-based units that were on wheels or tracks or something was chasing them, that if they hadn't had maglift technology where they could hop off of this road, fall to the next one, and maglift onto it and keep going, that they'd have been done. The little car saved their ass a lot.
It had a lot of free movement, you might say, to its...
Yes.
And
I love the fact that they didn't turn it into like an armored assault vehicle, but they gave it enough movement and enough something special about it to play a role in what was happening.
It has a very, very sleek design to it, a very modern-esque. Of course, nowadays, having a vehicle. Okay, so one of them look like it's almost like a top down, but it might be all glass, maybe plexiglass. What other size?
The hand drawn sketch, that's all glass.
Okay, and the other one looks like it's kind of like it has a normal style roof to it. I had to say I like the Meg lift design, but I also like the original design. So if they put a Meg lift on the original design, I think it look pretty cool.
I wish they'd have kept the body design from the manga, but put the mag lift on it for the anime.
And of course, there's not like this is not a vehicle you'd be driving for. Like, let's go get some groceries because there's like no room, or go pick up your family from the soccer game.
Oh,
like,
no
room.
This is strictly point A to point B, and it wasn't a slow vehicle.
Yeah,
it could get to where it needed to go in a hurry. There was no such thing as we're being slowed down by torque or friction. That you weren't touching shit.
What is traffic? Now, if again we were done live action, I would have chose the taxi cab from The Fifth Element. Don't ask me why. I did that. Those scenes. The Fifth Element was great, and I love that whole thing. But that's an iconic moment for me. But anyways, I would say this is probably one many people don't probably know about either. Or either, whatever you might say. But this one is from Red Line. I'm showing you, Corvo.
I've seen that one, yes.
I've shown this one actually during one of my movie nights with my fans. This is the Tran AM from Red Line. And this vehicle, the yellow one you're seeing in the screen, is all muscle. It is the what Fast and the Furious wishes they could do. This is a extended body, all muscle, all torque, with every fun booster of fantasy you could actually believe, and with a jet engine inside of it, and full-on suicidal vehicle of madness. This movie was, I would say, not like the top of tier, but when it comes to action-packed racing speed, it was all insanity. It was just crazy. And all the things they were doing, everybody else was having like vehicles that were like Gran Turismos, and they were very sleek and and aerodynamic. This vehicle was like, nope, don't care none of that. I just want all the torque this thing could possibly give. And the driver was right behind it. Insanity of this guy, and then the craziness. And of course, it had it was goofy. It was just straight up goofy, action packed. I love the movie. It was a great one. And for a person who loves cars, I would say give this one a shot. This is a movie it's not that long. It's a one and done. It is goofy, but yet it doesn't take itself too serious. But it knows what it is, and what it is just a romping good time, and it does some good character development and so on. But this vehicle, I wouldn't want to be behind it. Let me just say it like that. Full on disclosure, there's no fucking way I'd be behind the wheel of that damn thing. But seeing it in real life would be pretty amazing. I mean, you think of a regular muscle vehicle and extended by like two more. That's like the length of this person's vehicle. It was maddening at how long it was, but the engine inside of it and all the things he was doing it was insanity. And I love the way it looks. It has such a grit to it. No fancy, sleek design. Futuristic stuff going
This is
on.
how it's gonna be.
Yeah, it is. He knows what he was doing. Everybody else around him was doing, trying to be smart with their stuff, trying to make it all nice and good for a racing. This guy's like, nope, don't care about none of that. I want all the room I could possibly fit inside this baby so I can go stupid crazy fast. And that was always so much fun. So that's our picks for cars. Now, the next one is, I think, from my side. I'm going to start with this one because I think this one is, for anybody that's usually watching my channel, watching my streams, not a surprise at all. If you know me, you should know what I'm going to choose. This is for spaceships.
I have a feeling I know what this one is.
There's no question in my mind what is my favorite anime of all time, even though it is not the best anime by no means, but it's still my favorite. And this flying machine, this spacecraft, some of you may know it as Outlaw Star, the XGP 15A2 ship. Long name, I know, but they named it the Outlaw Star. The XGP was the original name of it. This ship, to me, it had gone through everything. Everything. It went through battles. It had arms for combat. It went through space traveling. It went through racing. It did time warping or time not the star light speed. This thing had an integrated AI intelligence where it was learning. It had so many bells and whistles, and it was not piloted by one person, not by two people, but four. But not separated in one part. One person to be controlling the arms, while combat. The other one controlling the guns. You had a crew of people inside the ship, and it had all the homing, living situation. It was built pretty much for a navy, or they would call it a navy of the space. And this show was pretty much running this a lot of times, and it was almost a lot of ways one of the main characters in this series. There was no backseating of this character of this ship. You saw it, and it was in combat, and it was going fast all the way. And of course, the crew. I love the crew. Anime's great. Go try it out. Give it a shot. You've seen this before. You've seen it quite a few times. What would you say would be one of your favorite features of this ship if you were to give it one?
The grappling arms.
Yes,
without a doubt.
The grappling arms. So, how many? I know there's other ships out there that they could turn into pretty much Gundams or mech machines, but this was the only one I've ever seen that was like, no, this is a ship primary, but it had arms.
Yep.
But it still looked cool.
Yep.
It had guns, had axes, had swords, weird thing. It had and rockets. It was the whole scale of things. And to me, I will always have a deep love in my heart for this show and this thing. I wish they would do a Gundam set where you can a model set where you can put it together. And I think it'd be pretty cool. But if there is one out there, I don't know of it. The guns are in the show is one of my favorites. Definitely the future things. And again, not a question in my mind. It had to be this one. Now yours, I've seen it before. I've seen it before. But I cannot for the life of me put my freaking hand on it. What is this from?
Eden Zero.
Oh, fuck me. Goodness gracious. Man, that's been a while since I've seen that one. Okay, now this one is just wild. This thing looks like it's alive. It is. Yep. It is living. It's moving, and it looks like it could be going swimming through space. When I saw this first time, I'm like, I've seen it before. That looks like a creature more than a freaking ship. Someone's riding that thing.
Yep, they drove the shit out of this ship. And if you know it, it is not actually the Eden Zero ship.
It's the...
Look at it close. It is the space pirate from our red-headed space pirate.
Mm-hmm.
It's her ship.
Okay.
It's the one that they made the Eden Zero look like.
Yeah, that's why I said it looks like it.
When he had to go do his little test aboard the ship to see if the ship was going to become his.
Yeah, trying to
And
see if it would
I,
accept
I don't
him.
know, man. There's just something about just the whole. You know me. I'm a very horror-esque, goth-esque fan.
Yeah, it looks like a skeleton ship
And
almost.
this shit this looks like one of those things. If I'm traveling on my little spaceship through space and this thing shows up in front of me, I'm first wiping my ass, and second, I'm going to turn the hell around.
Yeah, it kind of
and
reminds me
go
of like a
the
pirate
other
ship,
direction.
skeleton ship.
Huh?
It reminds me of like a pirate ship, skeleton ship. Like it's like one of those things.
Well, I mean, it belonged to a space pirate.
Mhm.
It was meant to look daunting and dark and devious. And at the same time, this is also the ship that said pirate had used to keep all of those people, all of those fucking enforcement agencies from taking her. They literally took fleets of ships up against her. And she tells him, oh, go ahead, take your ship. You can exit. I'll hold them off for a little while. You look and you're like, there's 30 damn ships out there. She's like, oh, we've been through worse.
It has a lot of firepower.
When you have the confidence in your spaceship,
and more than enough spaceships to replace it,
and you know that you look at 30 and you're like, oh hell, we can get through that, and then we'll have dinner. All right, guys, let's get this shit done. That to me alone speaks of don't fucketh with this. Okay?
And especially for a cartoon where a woman character was such a big threat, and like people think there's not strong women. Yes, there is. And there's some characters out there with just.
That's another thing I loved about this thing. They didn't stick some all-powerful, evil-ass dude at the helm of it. No, they took this semi-cute but rough around the edges, red-headed woman, stuck her on the ship and said, this is yours, you kick all of those Imperials' asses. Got it, Captain!
She was a badass, and she knew it, and that's what made the character such
she didn't think twice about it. I mean, it was like, when you're at the point with your vessel that you're just like, oh, look, it's those guys again.
Yeah,
and you look at your crew and you're like, handle this. I'm just going to go have a glass of wine. You're going to leave your bridge?
Yes. Sometimes it's not always just about the ship. It's sometimes about the crew that's in the ship that makes the ship so much like
and
more compelling.
They knew their job.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew their job. And this ship it showed so much fear in what I would call the lawgivers that no one ship wanted to run into that bitch by itself. Like, if they thought it was in the system, they were instantly calling for backup.
Yeah.
Not, hey, we got them, we're going to engage, get here when you can. No, y'all, we're going to hang out behind this asteroid and wait for the fleet to get here.
Wait for everybody else, because we're not trying to go and sneak in, do no convoy or no,
it
try to board them.
Instilled a sense of fear. And honestly, the thing is the person helming it and the crew weren't really bad. They just didn't play by the rules that everybody else did.
Yeah, they weren't really to go on their morals either. So it's like, hey, fuck it. You're going to come at us, we're going to come at you. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, we weren't going to attack you. We were cruising along, but you fired, so bet.
Yeah, this is all on you. When you're in the day, when you're feeling bad about doing this, that was all your fault. And that's something that, again, the crew, the characters, and sometimes will pull the things and pull the whole anime together, not just how cool it looks. Like, sometimes it can look cool as could be, but if the crew or what they could do with it is shown on the screen, and the attitude doesn't really resemble it, it doesn't really matter much to anybody. And like, again, the crews with both these ships are great, good stories, good people.
I'm gonna give an honorable mention. Mm-hmm. The actual Eden Zero would have been my pick had it not been for this ship, because who the hell does not want to take ownership of a ship that comes with, count them, 4 hot women that runs all the systems?
Yeah,
who the hell? I mean,
the woman that likes guys.
Okay. That being said, I know a lot of women that would take this ship too. My
Give it a
point
shot.
being is, I mean, hell, it had
a woman that likes
hell, it
guys.
had a
I never
pool.
said anything about a woman that likes women.
It has a pool in it that awakens your innate abilities to do specialized shit just by bathing in it. You know, we just bathe. Oh, I'm gonna go take a bath. Holy shit! I can throw fireballs from my hands now. When the fuck did that happen?
It's kind of like, yours had a pool, mine had a shower. For Outlaw Star Machine, they had like a bit of a shower inside of. But that was, it's not the same, but it feels like it could be like, your character's getting a pool, mine's getting in a shower with another hot chick. And of course, Outlaw Star had, what, 3 hot chicks?
Easy there. I seen the eyes shoot to the side.
3 hot chicks.
There was an image that popped there. I seen it.
I there's a lot of scenes in that show that gives person way to fantasy.
But yes, at the end of this shit, you definitely need to write down 2 animes that I told you about, because I, for one, chat, am completely and utterly surprised that this man here has not seen them.
I was about to just think, what is this man gonna choose? And I see these things, I'm like, what the fuck are those from? And okay, the last one is Racer. Now, the rule of Racer is pretty much, I would say, a pretty straightforward thing. It has to be an anime that had to have a racing, had to have a tournament, or it has to be in there. Does not mean it has to be on wheels. Does not mean it has to be flying. It does not mean anything. Just has to be in a tournament like Arc or anime series. Now,
absolutely.
I'm going to start with yours because yours is the more iconic. Yours is the more well-known out of pretty much almost in all animes. I would say, go so far, even people that don't even watch anime or just not even like anime knows what the hell this is, because it's almost a meme at this point, I would say. My mom wouldn't know what this is if she saw it. And it's such a wide, broad thing that no one can mistaken this thing for anything but what it is, but Go Speed Racer.
Yes, sir. Mach 5, baby. The Mach 5.
Now, this thing was, when it first came out, I'm sure every single boy and his grandfather was going, I would love to mod a vehicle to look like this thing, because it has such a sleek design.
Been so many vehicles of different types modded to look this way over the years that it is not even funny. But you know, what made the Mach 5 special was the tournament that it was in.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just a speed tournament. You had to survive that fucking tournament.
And it means there was weapons and other things. James Bond galore.
These people threw bombs, they threw oil slicks, they threw smoke, ice, flame, anything they could do to win this race, they did. And the Mach 5 made it through it all.
And with the help of the main driver and his 2 sidekicks, you know what I'm say,
his mechanics.
Yeah, his mechanics, but the little monkey and his little friend.
I knew you were going to bring up the monkey. I knew you were going to bring up the monkey.
You could not think of the freaking monkey. That thing was probably the reason why the Mach 5 survived sometimes, because of his missiveness and craziness. It would pull out of his ass. It was almost like the rubber band scenario when it came to rubber band cartoon design. When it came to him, he could literally pull anything out of nothing, and there was a bazooka in his hand. Monkey was nuts, and it's such an iconic old school anime with the whole cliche of art design and the animation did not stand the test of time. But it is such a memorable moment that everybody memes on it.
Yep.
And
but I will tell you this. I watched the live action of this. Okay. The movie content of itself was not great.
Mm-hmm.
But to see mechanically these things happen that had always been drawn, oh, it was beautiful. Like, you could watch them flip a switch for an oil slick, not just hear him go, oil slick, and it cuts to the scene where they're drawing a puddle behind the car.
Yeah, still image and it's like shaking.
it was it was strangely gratifying to see it come to a point where you seen the actual moving parts and the shit happen. And what was even scarier is when you realized, holy fuck, some of this shit is very, very capable of being done, you know?
Yeah, and
Like,
not very safe at all.
No, not safe at all, but you can do it. I mean, shit, I could put a flamethrower and shoot out the back of my car.
Yeah, and of course this is you gotta remember, this is a life and death tournament, not just hey, get from point A to point B and don't crash. It's more like, hey, someone's bound to crash and probably someone's gonna lose their life. It is not a when you really think about it from a grand scheme of things, not really a kid-like safety or kid-like friendly show.
It was an animated version of Death Race.
Yes, Death Race. That's what the movie I was
If anybody watched Death Race, this is what sparked Death Race here.
It was pretty much almost designed for kids, but when you think about it from the story of it, it was not meant for kids at all.
I mean, you knew when you got into your car for a race, in about 10 miles, somebody's going to break out a fucking machine gun and try to kill me.
Yeah, and it was first time. It was groundbreaking for this time. It was thrilling. A lot of marketing, a lot of toys for the show. Kids loved it. And it is still to this day, a lot of people, when they think of racing and speedsters, you can't go wrong with it, but it does not stand the test of time at all. If they did a modern version of this show, I think, and then actually like go to the true gritness and the true idea and aspect of a death-like race, I think it'd probably still be to this day a good and great anime.
If they animated it, if they used some of today's technology and animated it, and took out the hokey, funny parts and made it, this is real grit, true grit, shit's gonna hit the fan. Dude, I think it could blow up. It would be huge now. Because they have the ability to make it that way now.
Mm-hmm. They could really do what they really would like to have done back then. Which back then was a lot harder. And of course, like I said, you probably would have to lose a monkey. I don't know how many people will be upset about that. You probably lose a monkey. I don't know, the little boy, like, I don't know, I feel like kind of awkward, like the characters are kind of like a stable character too, but really, they're not, and really, you don't want to have those people in a dangerous situation, because if that guy would have died in the race, so would those kids, and that monkey, they would have died too. Like, they had no clues, like, ha 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 ha, all fun and games. No, if he would have crashed, your ass would have been dead too. Just saying, that would have been the thing I would have made sure that didn't happen, because I wouldn't have that in my hands, but okay. So mine, I don't really have an honorable mention, but it's a 2-1. It's a 2-in-1 because this speed racing was also a bit of a life and death race where your life could be very much at risk, and there was very much battling inside of it while you were racing. And it's a little bit of an awkward one, to say the least. And I'm going to show you here, Corvo. Give me a second so I can get yours up and going. And I say mine's it has 2-in-1 because, well, this thing could have multiple versions of itself while it was racing. Okay, give me a second. I'm trying to get Corvo the imagery here so he can see what I'm talking about here. There we go. And enter. And mine will be from the popular and well-known anime of Zoids.
Yep.
This show right here, to me, and this is, for those who do not know, this is the Liger Zero from the, I would say relatively kind of popular anime. It wasn't very popular to that many people back in the day. I know for me, I watched the entire seasons of all of them. I loved it. I don't know what it was about these mech, like the machines that we were running on the all four palms, racing to get to the end while fighting, and they're coming up with new body types and adding onto it. It was definitely one of the situations where I felt like at some point, this show was designed for toy making. Like, it was like Power Rangers. Like, every time there's a new problem happening, it's like, it's okay. Why? Because we're about to make this BS thing that attached to your Zoid, and now you're even more powerful. We had armor Zord, we had blade Zord, we had heavy duty Zord, we had the full array of things, and of course body coloring changing. One of my favorite is definitely the armor Zord because it's all blue, but the show was. It was life threatening, but there was a crew of people behind it that made it very, impactful. But it looked so cool, and the abilities behind it, and of course, it didn't really take itself too serious, but it definitely had a little bit more of a serious play on the racing, the animation. There was CGI, there was some CGI, cheap CGI in it to try to cut back on costs. But I loved the Zoid idea. I don't know what it was, but having animals being the racer. They had like dinosaurs too, and a gorilla, and a bunch like the wolves and cheetahs, and the name of like creatures that they would design, and of course felt like kind of Gundam Wing at the same time. Liger Zero, freaking awesome show. Yeah, I loved all of it. How much have you seen of it?
I haven't seen this at all.
You have not seen it at all. Okay, well, I
No.
got one on. I got one, folks. Got one. Anyways, it is definitely a show that shows for kids. Like, it's not really a I would say a more of adult anime out there. It's more of a younger adult kind of thing. Kids, some serious aspect to it, and trying to teach some kids some lessons here and there. But there's the idea of the show is, of course, you have your own mech, and you have to have a crew. You have to make sure you have a crew, have a sponsor behind your crew, and you need to be having someone that can make machineries and weaponries for the mech and attach it to it. And while you're running along, your crew can come to you and swap out gear to match the situation or the thing that's maybe happening. Like, hey, this is the fighting portion of it. Hey, this is the aquatic portion of it. Hey, we need to pick up a little bit more speed. This is a more open spot. This is a more rocky area. So they have like different things they can swap in and out of your thing, like a pit crew, and you keep on going. And there was only one pilot. Only one pilot on this thing.
I will definitely have to watch this.
And it had such a wide array of mechs that were not really like again, I like shows that don't have other characters or just backdrops, right? I like characters that are other characters that actually have a little bit more of a forward front, like, hey, this is a side character, but it could be the main character.
Lambo says Panzer was the green, Jagger was the blue, and Snyder had the blades.
Yeah, so those were the body swaps of the character or the Liger, and they would change those things, and those weapons would come about of those blades. They were speed, and they were the shield, and it had such a wide array, and I loved it. I loved the whole idea of it, just being able to at any time swap out parts, and now it'd be able to handle whatever situation you're called for. But of course, it was also one of those things like, hey, you're going against this one guy that's really heavy into fighting, and he likes combat, close up range. All right, we'll make this weapon attached to your character. And it was always one of those things. It's like every time a new problem came about, there was always a solution.
Yep.
And resolving of it. And of course, he made some friends along the way and became friends with some of the other pilots. And it was a good time. And while watching him go through the struggles and go through the heartache of trying to win this tournament, I forget what he was fighting for. It's been some time, not gonna lie there. It has been some time since I watched it. And of course, I watched it when it was airing on TV. So this was when I was a teenager, and I haven't watched it since, but it still holds a deep, fond memory in my heart. And I know it's not with wheels. I thought this would be a little bit of a side twist, going, man, I could choose something with wheels. The other one was a race one too, but I'm like, I want something that really, like, it breaks the mold, and this definitely broke the mold for me.
That was good. I appreciate outside the box thinking.
And you haven't watched it yet yourself? For anybody out there wondering, go try it out. Zoids, there's like 2 or 3 seasons of it, and there's different versions of the Zoids, and there's like one version where you get like one person's like actually on top of the lion's head, and like riding it that way. It's a single mech, the machine, and it's a good time. So that's our choices of top mechs. we're gonna probably be going over some of the other ones. If everybody's enjoying this one, I would done brought up the choices of maybe the next topic we do, whether next week or within a given reason time. Maybe weapons of anime, maybe clothing or character design. You said live action for one of them, but my mind, of course, would go toward anime. You were going toward a little bit more everything. A live action.
And I was also thinking we could do like favorite anime in a specific genre.
Yeah. Which problem is, like, when you say you go horror, my brain would go because I don't really have any favorite in that category.
And that's okay. It's okay for you not to have a pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, but that doesn't mean that I can't have a pick because I'm sure, like, I am not a comedy anime person. I am not. So I would be like flatlined on that one. Okay?
As soon as I say, what if I would say not Dojin because that's a different kind of anime. Something a little bit more the pervas version of anime. You might be flatlined on that one too because I don't think your wife lets you or your kids around that very often to watch some of those.
I know of some prior to children.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe there's some harem animes out there, and of course, comedy, action, horror, sci-fi, fantasy. There's a much more of a list. There's
fantasy. There's
isekai. There's the one with the video games. There's the main staple of anime, which is like you think like Dragon Ball Z. If you think about those long-running animes, and there's sports, and there's
You got tournament-based animes.
So there's a wide array of things if you want to have us go over those, but that is a very large list for me. Risks. I don't know why that came to my mind. And, something like that. So if you want to see that, be sure to put down your ideas and thoughts about watching the VODs.
You guys got ideas on a review you want us to do for a trailer, or you got an idea of a topic for the podcast. Put it in.
Yeah,
right there.
We cannot give you a videos or can give you a podcast about certain topics if you don't let us know. So be sure to share your ideas. Hope you enjoyed this one. I will be going live as always within the hour. No guarantees within that time. But if you want to catch that, links down below or at Groovy B not Groovy B Gaming at twitch.tv/Groovy Bear. Corvo would be going live tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow.
Yep, tomorrow
for some more 5. Star Wars at 5. Be sure to be there. Well, 5 Eastern.
We may also go live later tonight with some Genshin. It's going to depend on whether I feel like streaming it or not, but we will definitely be live tomorrow at 5 for more Knights of the Old Republic. Which
he will be playing over Knights of the Republic on PC, which he will give you, the viewer, a chance to vote on which option he should choose, whether or not he should go light, dark, or in between, and he'd be the first person to talk in his chat. It would be the first person to give the choice, so you could help decide his future of his character on this old classic of a game, Knights of the Old Republic. And of course, he's getting ready for the remake that's coming out on is it coming on console or PC?
I think it's going to both.
I hope so, because honestly, like, if they come to console, I'm screwed to play it. And of course, I will be playing sometime this week more of the Pokemon Arceus game on Nintendo Switch. If you like to catch that live, be sure to stay tuned. Say within my Twitter page, or follow us down on our Twitter pages, of course, as always, so you get updates on when we might be going live, and of course, follow our Twitch channels. And here at of course, the BearThoughts podcast, where I hope you already hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and share it. Please help share this channel, get us to grow up.
What'd you have to say, sweetheart?
Remember tomorrow if Lighthawk gets in there or not.
Oh, yes. One side note for tomorrow's Knights of the Old Republic stream. If Lighthawk shows up, it is Lighthawk's choice tomorrow per birthday.
All right.
So that would be the only exception, guys, to you making choices. It is going to be my gift to them. So if that person shows up, I am going to give credence to their decisions first, just for a birthday gift. If it does not show up, or that person is not yet in chat or watching stream, then I will give credence to whatever options come up until then.
Gotcha. So if he shows up and he starts talking for a long time, he gets first pick. But if he goes quiet, goes mute, well, it's all fair game and love and war. So be sure to be there live on his channel. Now, if you 5 o'clock my time is not 5 o'clock his time. So if you're Central Time, it's about an hour ahead. So which is like
Yes,
5. If it's 4 o'clock my time.
It'll be 4 o'clock your time, 5 o'clock my time.
So if you're Central, it is more like 4 o'clock. If you're Western, it's more like 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, depending on how far you are. So be sure to get an idea of, when that is at his channel. Of course, link down below between him at twitch.tv/Corvo Ninja. And of course, you follow us on our Twitter page. Please follow us on there. And again, leave your comment down below if what you want to see next. And as always, you have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good life, y'all. Much love. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.